Keir Starmer's leadership has been rocked once again. Another senior figure has walked out of Downing Street in disgrace, piling fresh pressure on a Prime Minister already fighting to hold his party together with MPs circling, rivals plotting, and trust inside Labour collapsing. The question tonight is simple. How much longer can Starmer survive? Let's break this story down. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Keir Starmer's Labour government has been rocked by yet another scandal. This time it's one of his most senior aides. Paul Endon, the Director of Strategy who has been forced to quit after sexually explicit messages about former Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott came to light. Endon, a former journalist and a key ally of both the Prime Minister and his under-pressure Chief of Staff Morgan Sweeney, has been at the very heart of Labour's political machine for years. His influence inside Number 10 was described by colleagues as immense. But now his career has come crashing down after emails dating back to 2017 surfaced. In those emails, recalled a conversation with colleagues where they played a game of shag, marry, kill in which Diane Abbott was discussed in graphic sexual detail. The Mail reports that Endon retold the exchange in an email chain going into detail about how they would sleep with the veteran Hackney North and Stoke Newington Member of Parliament. Faced with the inevitable fallout, Endon resigned, saying he didn't want to become a distraction. Labour insiders rushed to defend his record with one source saying Paul Endon was the best brain in the Labour Party and the role he played in the landslide election was immeasurable. But the fact remains this is a huge blow for Starmer. Endon's departure is just the latest in a series of damaging exits. It comes on the heels of Angela Rayner's resignation, Lord Mandelson's sacking as Britain's ambassador to the US over his connections with Jeffrey Epstein and other top aides like Ninjari Pundit, Sue Gray, and Matt Doyle leaving Starmer's inner circle. The Prime Minister himself admitted in the wake of Mandelson's departure that he would never have appointed him had he known the full extent of the scandal. That admission has only intensified questions about Starmer's judgment and his control over the people around him. Meanwhile, Diane Abbott, long a critic of Starmer's leadership, has been quick to pounce. She's warning that the Prime Minister has until the May local elections to turn Labour's fortunes around, and the stakes could not be higher. Since Starmer took office, Labour has been sliding in the polls, hemorrhaging support to Nigel Farage and Reform UK. What was once a comfortable lead is now looking increasingly fragile. Labour MPs are openly saying Starmer's future hinges on the local elections. If the party underperforms, it could be his last chance. But removing a sitting Labour leader isn't simple. Party rules require at least 80 members of Parliament to nominate a replacement before a card vote can even be triggered at conference. Even so, the murmurs of rebellion are growing louder. At the centre of that speculation is Andy Burnham. The Mayor of Greater Manchester has been positioning himself as the heir apparent despite not currently holding a seat in Parliament. Just this week, he launched a new campaign group called Mainstream, which Labour sources say is designed to set out his stall for a future leadership bid. Allies of Burnham are already hinting that rebel MPs want him parachuted into a safe seat at the next by-election so he can mount a challenge. James Rampton, a journalist and speechwriter, told GB News that rebels see Starmer in the Last Chance saloon. He went further saying the Mandelsson scandal could be the death nail for Starmer's leadership. Questions also remain about when the Prime Minister knew the full details of Mandelson's links to Epstein. Another cloud hanging over him. All of this chaos is unfolding as Starmer prepares for Donald Trump's unprecedented second state visit to Britain. Reports suggest a trade deal between the UK and the US could be on the table. But instead of projecting strength, Starmer is increasingly besieged by scandal, defections, and rebellion inside his own party. So here's where things stand. Another top aide gone in disgrace. A party fractured by resignations, leaks, and bitter internal feuds. A Prime Minister fighting for his survival. And with Nigel Farage surging outside Labour, and Andy Burnham circling within, Keir Starmer's leadership now looks weaker than ever. The message from within Labour could not be clearer. The May elections are the make or break moment. Either Starmer pulls off a turnaround or his time at the top will be over. In other news, Keir Starmer has hit out former Tory Minister Danny Kruger following his defection to Reform UK, accusing party leader Nigel Farage of stealing Conservatives for his own party. Speaking to the media following the press conference announcement to the nation's media, Mrs. Badino affirmed that the Tories are the only opposition to Labour. The Conservative leader told the media, "What this is actually showing is that there are quite a lot of people distracted by Westminster politics rather than what is actually going on in our country. Our Prime Minister is having a political crisis. The economy is in free fall. There is only one party that is dealing with this." Calling out Reform leader Nigel Farage, Mrs. Badok stated, "We were the ones who have hauled Stara to talk about the ambassador he needed to sack, Peter Mandlesson. We were the ones who started pointing to his Deputy Prime Minister's failure on her property issues, not paying her taxes. While we were doing that, where was Nigel Farage in the US? Telling everyone our country is North Korea." Addressing Mr. Kruger's departure, she added, "The fact of the matter is the biggest issue facing the country now is the economy. We need to live within our means and no one except the Conservative Party is focused on that. If people don't want to sit within the new policies that we're talking about, then I can understand. But I need to make sure that my party continues to face the key issues the country is dealing with right now. And that is what Labour is doing to our country." Quizzed by host Andrew Pearce on the loss of Mr. Kruger from the Conservatives, Andrew pointed out that the new Reform member said, "The mistake that's been made in the last year was you disappearing from public view for more than a year." Mrs. Badnock responded, "You can see that I'm literally on here talking to you right now, as I am every single day, making a lot of the case for why Labour is going in the wrong direction and why we need to fix it. And I'm not here to say that the Conservative Party got everything perfect. If we did, we would not have lost the election last year. My job is to make sure that we have a proper plan for government. There is not an election today. There is an election in 4 years' time, and we are using our time wisely to make sure that people understand what we're about," accusing Mr. Farage of telling everyone whatever they want to hear. Mrs. Badenoch defended the Tories further. "If people are leaving because of policy disagreements, that means that the message that I'm putting out there is clear. But if people are leaving just because of poll ratings, then we have a problem. What we saw with Labour was they were telling people everything they wanted to hear. They got into government and they didn't know what to do. We now see Reform doing the same thing. They are telling everybody what they want to hear, but they don't actually have a plan for how they're going to fix government. If the only way they can solve that is by stealing Conservatives, then I think that that actually makes my case." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.